things that you would never tolerate in a friendship, we tolerate in relationships. Like, why do we lower the standards for a relationship that technically should be even more of a bedrock?
I definitely also felt hurt reading those comments.
Yeah.
But those people were also just hurt. There's like no point in living your life to prove anything to anyone.
Can you show me a picture of your ideal type?
The vibe? Okay, you're watching Leah's Field Notes. Today we are in New York with a very special guest, Miss Hey You, it's Katie You! She's smaller, but louder than you would imagine.
In this episode, we are going to be talking about therapy, burnout, connecting with people, introversion, extroversion, my dream man,
some trigger warnings put in there, and
so many other things. You're just gonna have to find out.
it's so burnt. I don't know if this is edible. 안녕하세요. To make things clear, we just started seeing each other, and Katie told me that it's really easy to meet people, but hard to meet people multiple times.
It's hard to connect with people over and over that you want to build a deeper
Want to see people
Yes.
again. She said that usually if she sees someone like 3 times,
Don't me like this.
it means they're friends. This is our 4th time hanging out. I knew from the moment I saw her video, I was like, I want to hang out with her. And this literally happens with like Aries and like Leo signs. But what I didn't know was that she didn't think that we would be good friends.
I love your videos, but I did think like, oh, she might be like very, you know those people that like when you meet them, they're just shy? I automatically assume that they hate me, and like it's been a journey to like unlearn that, and I thought that you would be
Do you think I was shy?
Yeah, like I thought you would just be like, hello. And that was literally not the case. The moment that I knew like, oh, I really like this quote is we met at a dinner, like a creator dinner. We went to the bathroom together and I showed you a video of me like running, and then you started like doing so weird shit.
What did you question me? I didn't talk, I hate you, and I'm just no humor. Were you shy?
I think like I'm working on being my true self when I meet somebody, because I used to be so, again, like trying to play up the energetic, like super chaotic version of myself, bring my best foot forward and like give the best first impression to this person, and like it became a mask that became heavier and heavier because it wasn't me. I am very chaotic, but like it has to be very natural. And so I think probably when I came to that dinner, I was like pretty chilled out, but like still loud at sometimes. But before, like I'd say 4 months ago when I was still dealing with like really bad social anxiety, I would have been like really on.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm socially anxious, I just get very quiet. Like I just don't really talk.
Do you get socially anxious often?
Not anymore now. Or after doing like the Vipassana meditation course, I feel like I found love everyone. Like I felt really comfortable in myself, even coming back to New York when I like walk on the streets and look at people. Like I just feel like very neutral, like positive towards like people that I see. Last year when I came, I was so anxious walking through Manhattan.
Really? What about it caused you to be anxious?
Just a lot of people, and I think because I had anxiety inside of me, this rush drew out more anxiety. Because anxiety feels like a high energy tension, where like depression is like more low. So I feel like if you're more depressed, if you're in a more like upbeat, crazy place, maybe it lifts your energy. Whereas like if I'm anxious, I feel like a quiet place. Yeah, it exacerbates it, and I need a quieter place. Hey. Have you ever tried therapy?
I have. For a year.
And you're still like this?
Therapy is a lifelong journey, not just a band-aid.
And that's why today's video is sponsored by
BetterHelp!
Have you ever used BetterHelp?
Yes.
Oh.
Multiple times.
What did you like about BetterHelp?
I think it's a great, accessible gateway for people who find therapy very intimidating. Because when my friends first sat me down and were like, you need therapy?
That actually happened?
Yes, they literally had a reckoning with me. They sat me down, they're like, you have so many problems and like you need work and you need to go to therapy. BetterHelp was just like a very easy, like easing into it because you don't have to like go anywhere and like commit or wait in line.
The sign up process is extremely easy. I did sign up right after I had a fight with my past partner.
I think me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Luckily, they are accessible worldwide, online. You can call, text, video chat, and the best part that I liked about it is that you can actually switch therapists for free. So I've had like someone who had a very to the point style, and then I've also switched to a therapist that was very like spiritual, LA vibe, and she actually taught me how to find my editor. So I was like, oh, someone has to have good editing skills. She was like, no, you need to script down like all the personality traits of this person, try to visualize it as clearly as you can in your head, and then that'll help you like really narrow down what you're looking for. And I think that applies to a partner, applies to friendship, or applies to people you're hiring, you're collaborating with. So I think that's one thing I'm forever grateful for.
Thank you, BetterHelp.
And if you go down below, you will find a link to a discount off your first month. How does this look like a heart though?
I don't know, I don't get it either.
Here you go, you can just hold some nice old air. Cheers! You're in an interesting spot because you like recently graduated from university. So you're like just experiencing human life for the first time.
I agree. And I don't know like why I thought my life in college was so hard, because now I view college life and I'm literally like, yo, why did I think I was busy? I was doing classes, like, oh my gosh, boo-hoo. Like now I'm just like, oh, I was playing life on easy mode in college. I think I just have to approach it from the same mindset as I did when I entered college. Because when I entered college, I was such a headless chicken. I didn't know anything, so overwhelmed. But then 4 years later, I had absolutely mastered all the levels of the video game. So I feel like I just have to go. You are gonna feel very chaotic, very unstructured, very like, oh, where's my community? But 4 years down the line, I know that I will have roots and like have built the community that I want for myself. It's just gonna take time.
Little time,
Little time, unfortunately.
And you also talked about going through burnout. Even the beginning of this year, that was me. If someone was like, how do you feel about working? How do you feel about making videos? I just go, I sigh, and then I stare into the distance.
Oh, so there's like hope.
Oh yeah,
right.
There's always hope.
I think like I'm going through a very complicated shift in my relationship with work, because my whole life, it defined my worth. And this is not unique. I'm not gonna try to pretend like I'm the only one going through this. Like literally every freaking person goes through this. Every person's like, oh my gosh, I need to detach myself from my work. I need to slow down in this world of chaos. Like, oh my gosh, we're like all the other girls. Like I'm not like other girls. I'm literally every other girl on the block. But also like my Enneagram type 3 like has this deep desire to be distinguishable from other people and be unique from other people. So then like when I talk about trying to heal my workaholism, I'm like, everybody's sick of hearing this, but I'm just going through it.
You can be special and have similar problems to other people too. Your problems don't define you, Katie. Your sounds that make you really special.
Anyways, what I was saying. I think I'm in this huge transition of shifting from being and not doing. This was mentioned at one of the Bible studies I attend. I think like God really wants us to be focused on being and not doing, and we like get so wrapped up in doing. And even for non-religious people, like that is how you are evaluated in the society. Like, what are you doing instead of like, who are you? I think that's a mindset shift that I'm trying to really go through. And I also think that like seeing you and meeting a lot of other creatives in New York City, I'm realizing the importance of creating things together. I was literally filming a video in this space a few days ago, and I was literally like setting up the camera and like styling all the things and bringing up and changing the background. And I was literally like, I hate this. Like I don't want to do this alone. Like it's truly, there was a time where it was really fun doing it alone. But I think now I feel like I need to bring a little crew. And there's that saying of, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go with other people. And I feel like I'm reaching the point where I don't want to go fast anymore.
You're doing great.
Am I?
Yeah, you just graduated.
Yeah.
I think we have really high expectations for ourselves, thinking we need to have everything figured out.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like once we figure out this stage that we're currently in or struggling with,
it's time for the next one.
Oh yeah, time.
Right.
Video game, you complete this level, next level.
It's another one, yeah. It's so funny how fast we forget that.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we'll have it figured out and we'll be fine. And then like by the time we have this like young adult like hustling chapter done, we'll be like, oh, time for a family. And we'll be like, frick, how do we manage a family? Like it'll be so hard, and like you just continue leveling up.
How big of a family do you want?
A thing that I'm really trying to figure out is, do I want a family because society has told me that that is like the next step, that is the next chapter? It's the same thing as like, oh, you go to college and you get a good job and then you find like a family. Or is it something that I really truly want? And I think building a family has way more ramifications than you just getting a degree or you getting a job. So I have to figure out my intentions behind it, and I don't really know what they are. We'll see.
I want to learn about, what did you learn at therapy?
So many things. I'm not the same person.
Really?
No. I realized that a lot of my thought patterns and mechanisms were very, very just straight up wrong. Straight up wrong.
Okay.
Like,
tell me more.
Because this is a quote that I really like from Defining Decade, but it's like when you write an essay, for example, there's like a first draft, second draft, final draft. And as we're growing up through childhood, we are writing a first draft about ourselves. And through that, we're finding like coping mechanisms and like how we define ourselves, how we act around other people. But as we grow older, we have to realize that that's a first draft and it's very expired and it doesn't really mesh to like the message that you actually want to convey. And so you have to constantly go back and re-edit and revise. And therapy really helped me uncover that like I was operating off of a very toxic, very misaligned first draft, like be it about my thought patterns or like the way I talk to myself. One example is I was very pessimistic and very judgmental toward other people. I would never say that. Like I'd be very nice. Quite honestly, I was very fake bitch. I would hold people to such a high standard. But then I realized it's because I held myself to a very high standard and I was so mean to myself. Once I started being kinder to myself, once I kind of revised the way that I talk to myself, I just realized like, wow, people are so great. I'm not super like judgmental or mean to them anymore. So like the moment you start being a little nicer to yourself, you can like give that benefit of the doubt to other people. I also realized I had a lot of baggage and a lot of emotional trauma from my childhood, and it really impacted the way I view love. I was really raised in an environment where nothing I did was ever enough. And also like a very fearful mindset of like the world is not your oyster, like it's always gonna go wrong. You always have to fight for things to go your way. That's why I think like I'm not very trusting or like I don't assume that people have the best intentions. I also think that because I grew up in a household where it wasn't a very secure environment, like I knew I couldn't just like be myself and it would be met with like equal love or like acceptance. The way that different people cope with it is, for example, attachment styles. Like there's secure and then there's avoidant and anxious, and then like a very small quadrant is like anxious / avoidant. And I feel like, for example, in my love life, I just coped with that of, oh, when I show my true self to people, like they will hurt me, so I put ton of walls, didn't let like any men enter my life, and I would like push them away like super fast, and that's something that I really had to overcome in therapy. And I'm still not done working on it.
Are we ever done working on it?
No, it's unfortunately.
We're gonna be working on it in the next life too.
Yeah, exactly. I love my therapist. I don't know what I would have done without her.
Do you still go?
Yes, I go every week.
And every week do you talk about like new topics or?
I'm very like, obviously very organized and intentional. So every week she's like, how are you? And I'm like, good. And then I give her like a 5-minute overview of my week. And then I'm like, today I want to talk about this.
Of course you would be like that.
Yeah. So I think lately we're going to put a trigger warning. Trigger warning, like I guess like sexual assault. I think I'm like, it's something that we've been working on so many things and there's always things to work on, but I think recently that's the new topic we're tackling, like sexual assault and how that's impacted my view of men.
Oh my gosh. Was this something that was like from college?
College. And it's really sad because it's not even, okay, but my therapist is like, don't invalidate yourself, but it wasn't that severe of like a incident, but it's just like, oh, anytime your safety is like kind of compromised, like it's gonna leave a mark on you. But I've just realized like I don't like being in close physical proximity with people, especially men.
Oh.
Like even like on the subway. I honestly think I realized it with you.
Oh.
A lot. I learned a lot of things like hanging out with you. Like you're very comfortable, like being close to people, like even like people of the opposite gender. So I was like, oh, so not everyone operates like that. I'm like, oh, I should like work on that. That's why I brought it up in therapy.
What are things that she does to help you do that? Are there like exercises?
Oh my gosh. So usually the sessions are just like cognitive behavioral therapy, so like talk therapy.
Okay.
But when it's like something very traumatic, like the only other time that I've done this is with my eating disorder, which is something that therapy has tremendously improved with. Like I didn't even realize how bad my eating disorder was, but now I look at like my old videos and I'm like I can see it in like the way that I'm like eating the food. Like nobody else can see it, but I can see it, right? And I don't even realize until like I'm out of that, right? But like this thing that she does is called EMDR. Basically there's like a dualistic stimulation of the senses that really triggers like your memory. So like if we were in person, she would, it looks like hypnosis, but it's not, but like she would either like take a pencil and you would follow it because it's like your eyes are like being stimulated on both sides, but because we're Zoom, we're remote, we do this. She like asked me to close my eyes, like I tap for like a minute, and I'm supposed to like just be letting like my memory flow. And then she asked me to stop, and she's like, okay, what came up for you then? So for example, like for my eating disorder, another trigger warning, this is very triggering. She was like, okay, let's start with like your earliest incident of like when you stopped viewing food as just like a fun, tasty thing.
Nourishment.
And like versus like a burden. Those things like we suppress. Like, I mean, memory is very fickle and like very subjective, but I didn't believe it at all. I was literally like, what is this hillbilly thing that she's gonna like make me do? Like, oh my gosh. Yo, the memories, and like you're able to like connect all the subconscious ways that your brain like copes with things.
Wow.
And you're able to just like unravel it because you're like, oh, like my thought patterns were literally incorrect during that circumstance.
Oh.
So we haven't done it with my sexual assault, but we're doing that next week. But it's not something you should just do at home. Be like, I'm gonna do a butterfly tap. Like, it's like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like, you should
it's
do it.
me right now. Like, Katie, tell me to think about something.
No, please. Do butterfly. All About Love by Bell Hooks. It was like, friendships are a great basis for which you should model a relationship after, because things that you would never tolerate in a friendship, we tolerate in relationships. Like, why do we lower the standards for a relationship that technically should be even more of a bedrock and more like solid of a foundation? And so that balance between friendships and relationships is something that we don't heed often enough. So I think it's really good that you are strengthening that muscle.
What do you look for in a friendship? Just asking for a friend.
A literal friend. I need to really respect and admire your worldview. If I'm going through a tough time, I need to be able to respect your advice on like how you would tackle it. Like, I feel like I really admire and aspire to be like my close friends. Like, they genuinely like, I'm like, wow, like how do you think like that? Like, they have to like push me to be better.
Yeah.
And call me out when I'm wrong. And reliable people, not flaky. And also like not loose lips sink ships. Like, I need to know that I can trust you and like you wouldn't go tell everyone else. And maybe this is like childhood trauma where I got yelled at for leaking like family secrets. Or like my mom would always be like, don't tell people her business. Okay. So maybe that's that, but I like really pride myself on not sharing people's secrets. So I appreciate a friend who also does that.
Did you actually get in trouble?
Yeah, I got in trouble. But I actually have been working on that better, because I think that was a huge hindrance to me before, was like, oh, I cannot talk about my problems, like especially if it involves my family. But then my therapist was one day like, why don't you just like be upfront with it, because everyone has familial problems. Like, it's so universal, and like the more that we fake it, the more isolated and hurt we feel in our own problems.
Yeah.
And I realized like as soon as if in a trustworthy situation, like if I lead with that, like very nonchalantly, not trauma dumping, most of the time the other person is like, oh, same, like I totally get what you mean. Like, and it opens up a whole new avenue of discussion. Versus before I'd be like, no, like I need to pretend everything's fine. I think it's a very Asian mentality too.
Yeah.
Of like just save face, like act like you're perfectly fine. But I think we are in the era of like dismantling that, because I've seen like the really harsh repercussions of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm talking so much.
No, good for you.
Thank you.
Good job dismantling that.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I feel like I don't feel that level of energy with a lot of people, versus I feel like you can curate that energy with a lot of people. I think you have the very innate talent to connect with many different souls. I was watching like one of your Sleepover Series, because I was researching for this video, obviously. One of the comments was like, you have this gift to like connect with a lot of people. But my question to you is, a lot of people probably feel connected to you, but do you feel connected to a lot of people?
To the people that feel connected to me, or like... No, I think I do feel connected to a lot of people. And I think that's what I mean by saying this time in New York, I feel a lot less anxious even when I'm walking through Times Square, because there's something that I feel less distant from all the people I see around me. Whether it's a mom with a screaming child or a bunch of bros being loud AF, there's something that I'm like, I don't feel as distant and annoyed by certain things. Like, I feel like I feel for you. And like, I've been in times where I've probably been really loud with my friend and just having fun and not caring about anyone around me. And then there's times like, I mean, I'm not a mom with a screaming child, but like I can see how hard it is being a mom. So I think...
But you weren't always like this.
Definitely the pandemic made me less like that. I think COVID really created this new barrier from other humans that I was like, danger.
Right.
And I think that kind of like trickled in. Alone a lot. I think it made me more socially anxious. I think I was like INFJ instead of ENFP or something. Especially through this trip, traveling, through the Vipassana meditation, being in nature. Definitely there's people I feel more connected with than others, but I don't think you should judge that on an immediate basis. Maybe you find connection somewhere else, or maybe there's something in the future. So I think not to be too quick to judge, just stay open. Even if you meet someone that you maybe really like or thought you'd meshed with, but they were really quiet or just didn't seem as warm, like you never know what someone's going through.
That's true.
Don't put a conclusion to things. Don't assume. Maybe like 5 years down the line, you guys are gonna be best friends. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate?
There, you already know.
Katie.
Oh, this is an exercise we used to do. Like to warm up, we would like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hit. 8. 5. I'm tired. This is so tiring.
And there also seems to be a cheerleader to YouTuber pipeline.
Who else is a cheerleader?
Emma Chamberlain.
Oh,
We went to the same gym, actually.
Didn't Ashley cheer before too?
Yep. We just love attention. I think that's why.
I'm gonna become a cheerleader too, so I can become a YouTuber. Order in the call.
No.
Do you identify with being an influencer?
What do you mean identify?
Like, do you accept this title?
Yeah. I prefer content creator though.
I think influencer is a stupid title.
Really?
Because everyone influences.
Okay, yeah, but that's the same thing as like calling a musician an artist. Like everyone is an artist, but like we can still call them artists.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bars.
I still don't like being called an influencer.
Yeah, I don't like when people call me an influencer, but like I accept that I am one.
Oh.
Yeah. But if somebody were to ask me what I am, then I'd call myself a content creator. But I feel like I don't get offended when people call me an influencer.
I think I internally cringe. Or there's a superficiality attached to this title.
It is. Like people associate us as like...
And maybe I don't like it because that's a part of my shadow self. Or maybe I deny this like superficial side of myself.
Like you don't like being viewed as that.
Yeah.
I think I am okay with like people thinking I'm like vapid and vain.
Oh.
Because I just like, I know that I'm not that. But I also know that I can be that. So like, if you're going to choose to see me that way, then like, that's fine.
That's so badass of you. I think that's something I would like to embody more of. Is not being so worried about maybe like strangers' perception of me.
Right.
I think maybe I need to embrace my shadow side where I think superficiality is bad. And maybe I judge that too much in other people.
Right. Like that means you're being harder on yourself for that aspect.
Yeah.
If you're like judging other people.
I guess superficiality is like a focus on the outer experience. And I think there is validity to that. And there's also a lot of self-expression through it. So I think I need to give that also its own place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream men.
Okay. Hear ye, hear ye.
So we're gonna be like forensically sketching my dream man because we need to find him. He's gone missing.
I will be doing a very professional sketch.
Are you good at like, I know you're a graphic designer, but like, are you good at realistically drawing people?
I can try. This is something I drew.
That's my dream man. Search over. All my friends just do say like, oh, they look like princes. It's not a king, not a joker, a prince.
Okay, can we do like something more like tangible, like a face shape?
Like narrow oval face shape, no like wideness. Like rather than doe eyes, I like more narrow. Oh, and number one on the list is freaking jawline. Hair that's like a side parted but like swished out like this. Chic, upscale. I'm just saying words at this point.
So you're describing the apartment. 3 bedrooms.
Upscale.
Baroque.
Yeah, did you get the jawline?
I'm trying.
Okay. But they have to look very kind. My mom and I are very good at like reading people's faces. Like I will show a picture of like my friend to my mom and she will like read their personality.
Oh.
Like she's very good at that.
Did she read mine?
I feel like you just look like a very calm, okay, there's a word in Korean called pyeone, which means very comfortable and easygoing and relaxed. And I feel like that's like what you scream, like your face.
I'm screaming.
Screaming relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
Like I feel like I really want to be drawn to a guy who flows like a river and is just very calm and comfortable. Like you!
Wow, you want?
But a male.
Oh. Fine.
Wait, I like don't want to look at it, but like it looks really good so far. Like she's really talented.
That's how you know she has really bad eyesight.
I need to fart. I'm like in a period of my life where I feel this is definitely not gonna go online. Very, very unlovable.
Oh.
Because like, it's the first time in my life where I'm actively open to a relationship. And then the people that I view in my league, they don't like me back. And it's
like
starting
Christian hot?
Christian and like, yeah, like decently good looking and also like a good person. And that I find like funny or like, not just like, you know, like a rock, you know? But when they don't find me attractive, I start wondering, I'm like, am I like not those 3 things that I'm asking for in a partner?
That's something that's like very interesting that I think people don't share on the internet. Feelings of unlovable.
Unlovableness?
Yeah, or self-doubt in that department.
Yeah, so maybe I should talk about it. But
I think, well, it's up to you whether you put it in, but I do think it's really something that I don't hear often that people talk about, but is so valid or like relatable.
I guess it is relatable. I think the reason why I'm scared to put it on the internet is because I feel like I'll get comments that are like, yeah, like I'm predicting things that haven't even happened yet, but I'm like, what if people say like, oh, she's asking for so much, it's so shallow of her to ask for like a good looking Christian man, like
why?
Who does she think she is? I don't know, like I just get like pretty scared.
That's someone else's shadow though, right? If that comes up.
But then I'm scared that like that comment would get a lot of likes, you know?
That a lot of people have that shadow.
Yeah, like I get really scared of like, I'm fine with one hate, like multiple hate comments, but like them not getting a lot of traction. But I think what really hurts is like hate comments that get like, I don't know, 300 likes. I think that's when it gets really scary.
Okay, I've had that.
Really? With
yeah.
what?
With one of my videos from London where people were like, you're queer baiting.
Oh.
Or like being like, you need to clarify your sexuality.
Like figure it out.
And it's like, this is not even any uncertainty that crossed my mind when I clicked publish. Like most I would expect someone to call me out for saying I moved to London when I didn't like actually like long-term move there. So those are things that I
unforeseen.
And I feel like I've spoken about like how I'm in the process of exploring it, but maybe I haven't been like, I wasn't as, maybe like those people haven't seen other videos. Maybe there's times where they've felt like their queerness was being questioned or taken advantage of. I think if you felt like someone you liked on YouTube was doing that to you, like exploiting you for your queerness, that would really hurt. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's an invalid feeling to have, even if that's not my intention.
Right.
I think
there's impact versus intent, yeah.
But then also I feel like if I say, oh, I'm queer or I'm this or put a label, I still feel like there will be another type of people that will question that.
Yeah, like, are you that?
Yeah, and there's people who will, I've had comments where like, oh, she's trying to jump on this trendy wagon. So, you know, it's like, no matter what you identify with, it's gonna trigger somebody. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I just have to come to the fact that I'm not going to please everyone. So I just need to work on what I feel like is true and what I feel like is right and being authentic to myself. I've been very open about my relationship because I started my YouTube channel while I was dating Andrew and he loved being in videos. So for me, like, yes, I would talk very openly about our relationship because he's the other half of the relationship and he's very open about it. Now I'm meeting more different people and I have close relationships to them, but some people don't feel comfortable just sharing every intimate detail, and I have to respect that. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't really want to share that at this point in my life. I'm not like a TV show or a movie that's trying to be like
a trope or something.
Yeah, I definitely also felt hurt reading those comments.
Yeah.
But those people were also just hurt. Yeah. And then like you have to take a step back.
So did you just not say anything? Like you just like processed it and moved on?
Yeah, I think I was like, I kind of want to process it on my own because I feel like there's a side of me that wants to reply to every single person. But it's like, I think that's would be a very tiring way of using my energy, and it wouldn't really be accepting that I can just live and say the things that I feel like are authentic to me, whether or not people agree.
I respect that a lot.
And that's still something I'm trying to...
And very controlled.
Because I think part of me is like, I don't want to be perceived as
Like
a bad
this.
person or something.
So like, let's fix it. Let's fix it.
But sometimes I'm like, let it be. Just let it be. Like, even if I was like, no, I'm not queer baiting, people would be like, well, yeah, you are. You still are. Are you sure? Like, it's like, well, I guess if I don't marry a female or something, like, no one will really believe me. I'm sure even if I did, there'd be people who are like, it's fake. Like, there's just like, I don't know. So there's like no point in living your life to prove anything to anyone. Is my final thoughts. Okay, I think I'm drawing a really sexy man. Okay, so do you want to see the headshot or the body first?
The body.
Okay. So,
wait.
3, 2, 1.
He looks like a ajoshi.
Why does he look like a middle-aged man?
I think like the clothes fit a little baggy, but I like the style because I created it, obviously. Oh, and you added an umbrella because he's a thoughtful man.
Okay, you ready for the close-up?
Okay, he's cute. Like, I will say that's pretty accurate.
Okay, so this is the man that we're looking for on the streets. There's 2 of you.
Also, I would like the picture of the dream man sent to me.
Okay, so I can show everyone.
Yeah, and be like, you don't look like this, therefore you're just like not it. Like, I'm kidding. Like, would you say that your past partners were your type?
No.
Exactly. Exactly.
One of them was my type, but we were like the least emotionally compatible. And I feel like that was the universe's way of being like, here's what you thought your dream man looked like.
And they're not that. Can you show me a picture of your ideal type? Like a celebrity crush?
I don't have celebrity crushes.
Okay, the closest, like the celebrity you think is most cute. Multiple, a few. Oh god, I have so many. Dude,
it's so hard. I feel like
okay.
I think I like people when they like are nice to me. Or like the vibe. Okay, let me think. I do feel like I like monolid vibe. Like Leah Wen, she's like a Chinese model.
So Asian.
But also I feel like someone who's not Asian can have that
monolith?
Not monolith,
but like that vibe.
I think monolith
yes,
is more specific.
Like you're using that word to convey a vibe. I know.
Yeah, but I do also genuinely really like monoliths, and I feel like seeing so many people get double eyelid surgery in Asia does feel upsetting because I'm like, stop. They're so beautiful.
Let's celebrate ourselves. That's a very low pillow. Do you prefer low pillows?
I do like a low pillow.
Wow, it's a nice...
Wait, this is a cute
thumbnail?
Thumbnail?
I look freaking fugly in it, but like whatever. It's like a
look
small
hot.
little...
You look hot and dangerous.
Okay.
And
I
the
can't
nice
see
guys
shit, so
behind
you
us.
know, like you can just... You'll be the creative director here.
Just like talk to me then.
Yeah.
You're so scary. What if I just acted like you for a day, but at you?
That's like the TikTok where it's like my boyfriend imitates me for like a day. David, can you like... Where's my water bottle? Can you find my water bottle?
Oh wait, I should just do that for you.
Wait, I don't want to see that. I actually don't.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.
Good night. Okay, that's a good one.
That was
and then cut to black. Black.